So, brother, the question you was about to say?
Can you elaborate? You mentioned language
Yes.
classes. Can
Yes.
you elaborate on the nature of the language?
What happened is this. Because we was raised in America for almost 400 years, we've been speaking English fluently. We think in English, we sing in English, you know what I'm saying? We dream in English. So what happened is that when you don't know something, or you're studying science, right? You have to learn their vocabulary because you're a captive, you're a descendant of captives in bondage. So whenever you say, well, what does this mean? Then you have to go to Webster for the definition. So this is what you call part of the spell. Because in ancient times, you were able to use higher portions of your brain where you were able to do certain things that people said, oh, they were called miracles in your Bible. They were so amazing and so miraculous, you know what I mean? So what happened is, because we're speaking their language, we can't channel our full brain capability. You know what I'm saying? So what our master teacher has done is that to bring us out of the English language, he had to give you what you want, which is religion. So you can want what he had to give, which is the actual facts. But what happened is, before he was able to give you back your ancient tongue, you were already trapped in the world of religion. Some people became Israelites. So they said, oh, Hebrew is the original language. This is the original language that Yahweh spoke. Then some people was Muslims. So they said, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first language is Arabia. You know what I mean? Then in Christianity, they said, oh, Greek. So no matter what school of thought that you study, everybody says that this was the first language. You feel me? So what happened is the master teacher started off with the Arabic language because this is what the school of Islam that we were under when we was Ansar Law, Nubian Islamic Hebrews. Then over the years, he pulled back and started pulling a lot of the Arabic out of it, and we started going into a school called the Nubian Hebrew, which was the Hebraic school. Now, when you studied Ansar Law doctrine back then, the Arabic and the Hebrew wasn't that much apart, that much different, because they were both of the same language, but they were different dialects. Because one of them came by way of Chaldea, or what you call ancient Babylon or Sumerian. And the Arabia would be ancient Babylonian mixed in with Egyptian heretics. You hear me? So then when he started going more into what you call the ancient, or you call it Nuwapic, the Nuwapic language first was created with Arabic sounds and tones and Hebraic sounds and tones in it because people were coming out of it. If people went straight into the Nepali language, people would never be able to pronounce the tones, or they would never be able to grasp how the pronunciation. So he walked everybody through the languages, and he kept updating the languages, and over time he kept updating it. So people say, well, he's changing it. It's not he's changing it, he's actually taking you back to it. You feel me? So when you hear a little Arabic inside Nuwapic, or you hear a little Hebrew in Nuwapic, it wasn't that he was using Arabic and Hebrew to create the Nuwapic language. He was telling you that where the Hebrew and the Arabic language were getting their words from, and how it was coming out of the ancient Egyptian, ancient Nubia. You feel me? So now that you're into your right tones, you're able to activate your personal powers. The Caucasian has been benefiting off your spiritual energy for the last 400 years. This is why that every time when they invaded Africa, they couldn't defeat them even with the most primitive weapons. And they had the most advanced weapons against the Africans with spears and swords and so on. These guys got cannons and firearms, you know what I mean? But these guys were defeated in the Ghanaian wars, the Sudanese wars under Muhammad Ahmed, the Ghanaian wars under Pompey I and Ashantiwa, you feel me? Or different parts of Africa, they were not able to defeat the Africans because the Africans were in tune with nature and they spoke their natural language. That means they were protected by nature. You feel me? But what happened is, by you not speaking your original tone, the Caucasian benefits off of it because your spiritual powers are, or what you call your tones. Tones are what? Vibrations, frequencies that vibrate on certain levels. What happened is when you start vibrating on certain frequencies or tones of your oppressor, you empower them. And this is why it's always seen like the Caucasian is always successful, because he's using your own spiritual power against you. But once you start going back into your natural tones, things will start happening for you, and doors start opening up for you, and your ancestors will start working through you to make you successful.
That's why he used to say, you give praise and power to the worship.
To the worship?
Worship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important to learn our tone.
So you're thinking harmony.
Exactly. And harmony comes from the word what? Harmonics, which is dealing with frequencies and sounds. I'm saying? Just like when you go to a white church, they got harmony, right? But when you go to a black church, they have a different form of harmony. The Caucasians sing, and we be like, ah! You know, it's like, and you feel the spirit, you know what I'm saying? But what happened is the Caucasians even defeated that purpose, because even though they're moving on their own harmony, but they're still using their language. And they still have the perception of their ghost spirits. They'll tell you as an African, oh, you are ancestral worship. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, that's bad. I said, according to who? Well, according to me. I said, but that's your culture. You hear me? Because if you want me to convert to your culture, right? And I come into your culture, you don't want that to happen, because I'm going to change your culture. Because I'm going to do it the way it fits my soul. You feel me? But then I'll be worshiping your ancestors. You said it's wrong for my ancestors, but when I come in there, I'm worshiping your dead ancestors that you call Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah. You feel me? But when I was dealing with my ancestors, I was able to do miraculous things. How can you call me a pagan and a savage, and I build pyramids and temples, irrigations, and all different type of mathematics and astrology, right? But then you copy my stuff, but in your doctrine, you have none of this. What contributions have the Israelites? What contributions have the Christians? And what contributions have the Muslims attributed to science that we use in our everyday life? Hey, who has cell phones? Raise your hand. You don't get that from Christianity. Because Christianity don't have any type of mathematical equations on how to deal with mathematics. Same thing with the Jews, and same thing with the Christians and Muslims. You feel me? So the question is, what have you done for us lately? Besides a promise of a special covenant of chosen people. What have you given to the world? Nothing. All you ran around is take over people's land and say, I'm special. And I'm God's chosen. So it's okay for me to abuse you. Because you are a goyim. What they call it? Goyim is a Gentile. But you have no science. Now you say that God heals you, right? So why do you go to hospitals when you get sick? Yeah, but I'm just saying is that they said this inside the Bible, God have done so many these miraculous, miracles, right? Events, right? But as soon as the person gets sick and they say, well, your faith should be as strong as much as that of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, right? Why is it that Christians, Muslims, and Jews always talk about the spiritual and God healed me and stuff like that? Well, he should continue to keep healing you. Why is it that when you get a car accident and you survive, oh, Allah saved me, or Jesus saved me, or Yahweh saved me, right? You hear me? But then when you get a cold, why couldn't you ask them for the same thing that happened? Or the flu, or syphilis, or gonorrhea, or AIDS, or herpes? You feel me? All of a sudden you got to go to the hospital and get some white magic, what they call white pills, or penicillin, or whatever, and take that and so to heal yourself. But according to ancient times, that will be witchcraft. Any type of medicine you put in your body, they will call that witchcraft. So you go to the witch doctor, the PhD, right? MD, right? To get a cure. Oh, I need you to help me. That's why they call it hospital, because it doesn't mean to cure you, it means to be nice to you. You know what I mean? So if you were using your ancient tones, you would be able to vibrate on certain frequencies and be in tune with your ancestors. But they taught you that it was wrong. You okay, man? Okay. Any other questions? You about to say something? Yeah, go ahead. You speak into the mic too when you go to it too. That way we can record it. Go ahead, sis. Don't be scared.
She got a list now.
Now, welcome back.
What is the mic on?
He is
Okay.
on.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me back here.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I had to write these questions down, so basically I wrote 3. But my first question is, now next month is Black History Month, of course, supposedly. So, and I'm just curious to know. I mean, not just about Black History Month, period, but just history of Black people, and I mean, what should we do as Black people? So, this regards to the first question would be, do we have what it takes as Black people to come together?
No.
Why not?
Because you had to, in order to understand nature,
Okay.
you got to understand people. Look in this room, right? Do anybody in this room look the same to you? These are considered what you call African Americans. Do they
Okay.
look similar? Look at their features, though.
I mean, yeah, they have different features.
Okay, we'll stop right there. When you go to Korea or China or Japan, 9 out of 10, those people almost look similar. I'm not saying they all look exactly alike, but a majority of them look similar, right or wrong.
Right.
Now, because they don't mix outside their species too much,
Right.
we have been raped, bamboozled into mixing our seed with other species on the planet Earth. If you mix a lion with a tiger, they call it what? A leaguer. You ever heard that term before? Huh?
Leaguer.
Yeah, that's what a lion and a tiger. They two different. Those are two different cats, right? But a lion and a tiger are two different species of cats.
Right.
So what happened is, as our master teacher BABAH YAANAN have taught us that there is 9 different species of Africans in Africa. And what happened is, each species stays in different regions. Meaning that if I got Nubians right here, Amharans right here, Bantus right here, Zulus right here, Osas right here, Fangs right here, Akan right here, Wolof right here, Manding, Dogon, and Mandingo, and Fulani's right here, right? Those are, I'm not saying it, but those are different species of Africans, right? Because they have different features.
Exactly.
So when you go to those regions, right, in those countries, everybody have a similar look. So what happened is these species are not supposed to be together because they have a different nature. This is why lions attack cheetahs. Even though they're cats, but they're of different species. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, because now with you breaking it down, like, okay, different categories, like you got what they say, like the Negroids are located on the western part of Africa, right? And then
Negroes on all parts of Africa.
Right, but you know, according to some facts, they say that the Negroes, like the dark-skinned African people, will be on the western part, and then like the light-skinned color version, you know, people like my complexion or lighter, they will be over what would be called northeast of Africa.
No, I understand where you're coming with the light skin, right?
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
You can be light-skinned and be more African than somebody darker than you.
Right,
because it's the melanin is also in the blood.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? What happened is that when you look at the different regions around Africa, right? All the ports, the sea coast, don't go into the jungle area of Africa, right? All the ports have been taken over by Indo-Arabs. Morocco been taken over by Arabs. Tanzania, Mauritania, Libya, Egypt. They tried Sudan, but they couldn't penetrate. This is why they were trying to kill the people.
What about Somalia?
Somalia also have Indo-Arabs in it. If you notice that all these places have a light-skinned, straight-hair African, right? Because they took over those regions. They even worked their way down to South Africa, but they can't go in these areas right here because it's too tropical. Nature has made, like our master teacher has said, nature has made it possible for us to survive and be protected by nature because they have a mosquito that will kill the Caucasian with malaria. So they couldn't go into the tropical areas with all the, you know, with trees and stuff like that because it'll kill them. So if you notice that all the places they're going to are dry areas, desert areas like Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, certain parts of Sudan, but they can't get in Sudan. You hear me? Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria. You hear me? So they work in the desert area because they don't have to worry about a mosquito because the mosquito doesn't work out there in that area.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned Liberia because now Liberia. Liberia. I'm sorry, Liberia. Oh, Liberia. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Liberia. No, you mentioned Libya. Okay, I meant Liberia.
Yeah.
Okay, now take Liberia for example. This country was nothing but it was just land over there.
Exactly, and a lot of Africans from Nigeria, different tribes.
I mean, but I thought African Americans, you know, African from Americas came over to that land and, you know, created their own civilization.
So you got to look at it like this. When America...
When they, you know, became free slaves.
Before the continental drift, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, when they became free slaves, yeah, they came over to Africa.
Listen, a lot of those slaves were not from, see what happened is you gotta understand like this. Well, a lot of those slaves came back from America. These are different tribes. You hear me? Mm-hmm. That went to Liberia, and they call it, see, Liberia's not a tribe, it's just the name of the area. But you got different tribes. See, this is where the trick is at. When somebody say, are you Liberian? They say, yes. Then now here's the question. What's your tribe? Oh, I am a Fulani. Oh, you're not from Liberia. You're from Mali.
Right.
So you ask a Malian, hey, what are you? I'm from Mali. Oh, what's your tribe? I'm Dogon. Oh, you must be from South Africa or Sudan because they're not originally from the area. So you got to understand that everything came out of the Nile civilization, you hear me? And these tribes start migrating to the other side, you hear me? And then they start crossing over from what you call this side of Africa when they were connected to Americas. This is why you find similar features in ancient America in the Mayan temples and in Incas and Zoo Aztec temples of African featured people because they walked over here from here. They were called the Olmecs. You hear me? So what happened is these different species of Africans were nothing but tribes that kept migrating. Some of them are nomadic and some of them just were forced out of their land through wars. It's like, say like this. If you have a person that you don't like, there's no way that you could ever get along with, like, look, there's no way we can ever be cool, right? It's this written in the wall, right? And this person has real estate, and you got real estate. This person is buying up all the houses, and you buying up the houses. Guess what happens after a while? You're overlapping to their territory. Now y'all got beef, like why you living next to my house? And next thing you know, y'all fighting each other, you hear me? This is what happened in ancient Africa. This is what they call tribal wars. Had nothing to do with racism. It's just that this species did not get along with this species because they were of two different species. And what happened is, it depends on your food. If you eat, if you're expanding and you're reproducing at such a accelerated rate, that means that you're expanding your empire. And once your empire starts expanding, you start overlapping to other people's empire. During the time of Africa, you had the Songhai Empire that took over the top, which you call Nigeria, in certain areas, right? Then you had the Malian Empire. Then you had the Ghanaian Empire. Then you had the Zulu kingdom down here. Then you had the Egyptian Empire. Then you had this, the kingdom of Kush. So you had different empires going simultaneously in Africa at one time. And sometimes when these guys would start expanding, they will actually go to war with the other tribes. Meaning that they will kill the women and children, they will kill the males and then take the women and children as slaves and mix in with them. And then next you know, the children or the women will become of that part of that tribe. This is why when you go to Nigeria and you see a Hausa or a Yoruba, these guys have 5 different species, features. Even though they say, I'm Yoruba. Or even when you go to the Igbos, you might see different features of the Igbo. It's not like when you go back a couple hundred years ago, everybody looked almost similar. But now that you have people taking over other tribes or marrying outside of their tribes, like I might get with you and say, oh, you look good. But then me and you might be two different tribes. I might be Bassa and you might be Gribble. You hear me? But then you have a child with me, my child, because I'm under a patriot mentality, right? That means that your child will actually become Bassa. Even though your child look exactly like you and look nothing like me. And then over generations, this is what happened. Because they pushed the woman back and didn't want to acknowledge the woman mitochondrial DNA or the matriarch rule that the female was here first. So when the religions came into Africa of Islam and Christianity and Judaism, they pushed in patriotic rule. So they pushed the woman out and they started doing the bloodline through the male. Okay. And this is why you might find a Fulani Yoruba looking chick in the Yoruba tribe when she looked like a Fulani. You feel me? So the reason why we can't get along is because people don't understand species. But once you understand species, then you can be able to tolerate or deal with a person's mentality because you know what they're doing. Our master teacher has been doing this. That's why he called it United Nawapian Nation. Because we are different tribes under the original tribe that we migrated from out of the seas, which we call the Nubians. That you call the Bataites, the Kushites, or Havalites. You hear me? These were the original Ogdogs that came out of the water. What happened is other reptilians or different species of extraterrestrials came to Earth and mixed in with these Taites and created different hybrids or species of human beings on the planet Earth. And this is what happened when we start creating different species of Africans. You feel me?
Okay.
Some Africans might have this tribe or this extraterrestrial species. This tribe might be associated. Like I'll give you an example. Everybody know about the Dogons, right? They said the Dogons were in tune with who? The Nomos, which is a reptilian that came from Sirius B, right? Then you got the ancient Nubians and ancient Egyptians who said they are tied in from beings from Orion. You feel me? Certain Caucasians said they're tied in the beings that come from Pleiades. So these are different species that got sponsors from different star systems and different constellations that came here. In order for them to be able to survive here on this planet, they will have to mix in with the original being that was grown by the planet in order for them to survive here. So they create hybrids, what you call avatars, for them to incarnate into and able to walk amongst on this dimension.
So you call
Okay.
them avatars?
Yeah. The avatar is the Hindu word for incarnated beings. And out of the Wapi language is the word manzal.
So when they did the movie, that was so to speak.
Exactly. The human being couldn't survive on Pandora, so they created a species and then put his consciousness into that Navi. Yeah.
Okay, now I got a second.
And let me read this real quick. I want to finish your first question, because I know you're about to ask the second question, right?
Yeah.
I want to finish that question, though. And right here in the Holy Tab is on page 283. It says, this is also true in regards to the people. The Negroid and the Caucasian are unalike, so they will attract, right? This is done to integration in order to destroy the Nubians. For Nubians dealing with Nubians repel. Why? Because likes repel, and this causes fighting and separation. This is one of the reasons why Nubian people, descendants of the Nubians, can never come together to unite to overthrow the devil. So what happened is our master teacher had to come up with a new formula, which is he had to go back into the oldest doctrine on the planet Earth that was before the separation, and it was called Wu-Sabat. You know what I'm saying? Because Wu-Sabat was the universal information of nature. Of nature. And once you understand nature of nature, then you understand why this person acts the way. Like you have sisters and brothers, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes they get on your nerves, sometimes you love them, right? Huh?
It happens.
Okay, but you tolerate them because you know them and you know how they are. What happened is when you come in a room full of Negroids, you don't understand each person's mentality, what they've been through, what's their background, and how they're feeling ethically, physically, and genetically in their body. But you said because we're black, we'll come together. But then this person has a different agenda, and next y'all in conflict. I don't agree with this person. I don't like this person. But then somebody said, well, I like him because everybody have different vibration. Our master teacher bring in the pataraks and the actual facts so he can use the information to bring us together. He's the only one on this planet who can do that. Because Zachariah Stitchin, Dr. Ben, and all these so-called scholars are giving you information, but they're not telling you how to unite. And they don't understand about different natures of human beings, so they say, well, anybody can read it, but then next you know, this person that you converted or taught your doctrine eventually try to take you out of your position of C because you don't understand that nature. It happens all the time. Farrakhan takes over the Nation Islam, Wallace takes over the Nation Islam, somebody's a student, Clancy take over the Nation Islam. So everybody, you get a student that doesn't understand nature of nature, and then they don't understand their student because these guys are not masters. Because the master knows, okay, I see where you're going. You ever watch the movies where they said, you're a good student, you're a bad student, so I don't give you all the techniques. Then this guy runs off and does evil acts with the knowledge he learned from his master. But the other student is the only one who defeated him because the master had to give him extra techniques or skills to take this one out because this guy using the information in the wrong way. But the master, because he's a master, understands the nature of his students or his disciples, so he knows what to teach them and what not to teach them. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why we cannot come up or get along together because we're looking at it like, because you're black, we're back. It's not like that because sometimes you might be dealing with a black person that has a Caucasian mentality. Even though they said, well, I'm black. Okay, I understand you're black. I can see that physically, but is your mind black? Is your mind African? Because you can sit here all day and talk about I'm a black man and you can be darker than me, but you might be the whitest dude on the planet. And you don't have to sound white and you don't have to act white. It's the mentality. It's like, example, you got to sell out in the Oka time, right? I mean, that's basically a sellout, right? And then you got a black Caucasian. What's the difference?
You tell me.
A sellout knows what he's doing. I'm going to get close to Whitey so I can learn his tricks. I don't care about these jigaboos right here. He already know that he's a sellout. Like all your black, like Kanye West and Jay-Z are perfect example of sellouts because they were educated into knowledge before they even started doing record deals. Because if you listen to Jay-Z when he was a jazzo, he was kicking knowledge. You look at Kanye West on the first two albums, he's kicking knowledge. But then they went to another route. Now they're kicking Tom Ford and Gucci and you know the same stuff that you talked about before you got on. Now that you're on, you know what you're doing. But a black Caucasian don't know no better. Oh, you's a sellout, nigga. You racist bastard. And they still have on a Tommy Hilfiger. You hear me? Or Gucci one. But you call these guys racist, but you still rocking Louis Vuitton. You hear me? You know they racist. So it's like we're so caught up in the Caucasian society, our own people don't even know that they black Caucasians. No, they have a Caucasian mentality. Hey, my brother, you look just like my cousin from Africa. I ain't no goddamn African. I'm American. That's the Caucasian mentality. I ain't from no Africa. Some people even say, I'm glad the white man took us out of Africa because I would have been in Africa starving to death and getting bitten by mosquitoes and flies and stuff. You know that mentality, right?
Oh, I have heard.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So your other question?
Okay, now my second question is...
Did I answer your first question?
Yes, you answered the first question very well, you know.
All right.
That was on point. My second question would be, what makes us dominant, powerful as a people?
You said what makes us powerful and dominant as a people?
Yeah, as far as black people concerned, what makes us dominant? Like how, because I've been hearing that, you know, the black race itself is the most dominant, powerful race.
Because we were first.
Okay. So now...
And we were part of the original creation of nine-ether. Like what the Holy Tablet said, that we were created from nine-ether conscious beings or conscious gases. Before we became a physical being, we were in the state of consciousness, a conscious gas. That was the same gas that created the boundless universes, multiverses, omniverses. You know what I'm saying? Because nine-ether is a combination of all gases in existence. We were that cream creation, you know what I mean? That triple state of darkness. And what happened is that when this dark energy and this dark matter starts slowing down in vibration, it gave birth to the universe and gave birth to the suns. So when they say you are the sun people, that means you are a part of the sun, because when you look at the DNA of an atom, you know what I'm saying? You have protons, neutrons, and electrons, and we usually look at how it goes around the nucleus, right? That's the same way as a solar system. That's why they say this is a solar what? Plex. The center, you hear me? Do like that. What do you feel?
I feel the heat.
Okay, and the heat comes from out your body. Your body's always at 98.6 degrees. You breathe in oxygen and give off carbon. When you take a match and light it, it needs oxygen for it to stay lit, and it gives off carbon dioxide. So where's that fire coming from? It's coming from the light in you, the sun people, the sun, your inner sun. You feel me? So when you're looking at the physical form of the Nubian black man, Ethiopian Nubian, you're looking at the creation of the universe in the physical form. You feel me? So you are a physical manifestation of the solar or suns or the dark matter, dark energy that manifested here in the physical form on this vibration.
Yeah.
That's what makes us special, because all other races or other species came out of us on this planet.
Yes. Okay. See, and I was going to ask a question that was addition to it, but I think you had answered with the first question. I was going to ask, well, if we are so dominant, then why we continue to allow ourselves to become inferior? And
because you have amnesia. Meaning that if you don't know who you are, anybody can run game on you. You feel me? And this is why black people can't unite sometimes, because this person can be pro-black and this person can be pro-white, even though they're both black. You feel me? And it's a conflict. Not only just with the race mentality, also with the genetics too, or the tribes.
Okay, and then I also want to ask you this last question.
Yeah.
Now, what would be the solution for black people and for humanity as a whole? Okay, start with what would be the solution for black people?
The solution will be mind your business is the first solution. You cannot come out of your culture and travel to somebody else's land and tell these people what they're doing is wrong according to their culture. They've been surviving it for thousands of years, practicing it in their natural nature. So who are you to go and say, I'm bringing democracy because I don't like the way y'all do things? You can't do that, because you cannot take a lion as a cub, take it out of its natural inhabitant, bring it to America, and put it in a cage. So one day when he decides to take a bite of his trainer, oh, that lion went crazy. No, he went back to being a lion. So that's did I answer your question, or you need a little bit more clarity?
What about humanity as a whole?
That's what I'm trying to get to. Everybody has a different nature. When you bring in a Hindu, they have a culture and they have a nature, right? When you bring a Caucasian, they have a culture, they have a nature. When you bring the African, they have a culture, they have a nature. When you bring the Oriental, they have a culture and a nature, right? Meaning that these people are from different extraterrestrials that come from different planets. They come, the way they do things ain't the way you do things. So you might look at their way as, I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with your way of life. So to them, they're disagreeable to you because you disagree with their culture. And to you, I'm not comfortable with your culture either. I don't like the way you do things. So you become disagreeable to them. Their culture is no good or bad. It's just that I don't like your culture.
Right.
I'm not feeling you. So the only way you can deal with a universal doctrine is that you have to acknowledge who you are. Wu-Sabat teaches you of who and every different species is on this planet. If it says this about the Hindu, this is what you are. Accept it. If you accept it, then you can become a Nawapian. If you says this about the Caucasian, you have to accept your nature, right? But you can become a Nawapian. And that goes with Nawapians also. It's a nature. See, Wu-Sabat show you the formula on how to acknowledge your nature. And once you acknowledge your nature, this is how you control it. And this is where humanity can come together under Wu-Sabat. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Say it again? Because you got to respect people for what they are. People don't know how to respect people, and this is why you have so much racism and prejudice in humanity. It's not just it's not a species thing, a race thing. It's a human thing. And this is why people are the way they are. And then when you got the religious doctrine to go on top of that, it makes it even worse. Because we are the children under the Tharo, and we take what we want. This is what the white man Edison had a problem with us about. Because he knew that we were here first. So I want my stuff back. Oh, that quote in the Bible about the Hebrews, that's mine. I'm gonna get that back. No, let me get that back. That's mine. You can keep the other crap. I want that back because I know that came out of Egypt. Oh, that Christian about our Father who art in heaven, you know that's mine too. I'm gonna need that back. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no. That's mine. The 99? Oh, no. I'm going to take that. Let me get that back. Because it ain't yours. That's mine. You hear me? So we taking our stuff back out of their religious culture. This is why when the Master Teacher break down these scriptures and type at the ancient Egypt, it was ours anyway.